Who wants to hear from Adam Wainwright? Well, we can make that happen. Cardinal fans, here he is, Mr. Wainwright. Adam, have a seat, grab a microphone. So what he's saying is stop applauding, but go ahead. Let's hear some more. Come on, some more for Adam Wainwright. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. The off season for you, what's that been like?
I got 5 children. I got 5 kids, so I was like, everyone's like, how's your golf game? I'm like, I don't even know. How's your hunting? I'm like, I went a couple times. I love my kids. We've been super busy just with all their things. They're getting to that age where, they're playing golf, and she's got dance, and she's got this, and he's got this, and they're always on the other end of the city. They're never in the same spot, So I'm like a professional Uber driver. So, but I don't get paid for that.
So let's talk a little bit about 2022, and I don't even know where to start when you talk about the great things that fans got to see last year. It's you and Yadi and working together all those games, and Albert and Goldie and Arenado and the young players. So what sticks out for you as important for 2022?
Well, I think looking back at 2022, that was just a magical season. I mean, it was such a bummer that we didn't win.
Yeah.
It was just because everything else was perfect. Besides my September, that wasn't perfect. But everything else was September. Having Albert come back, and not just come back, but play to the level that he played at, was something that, everywhere I go, I hear about. I went to the vacation this year in the Caribbean, and somebody asked me about what it was like being with Albert this last year, and he was a Yankee fan. I think that was everywhere. Okay. That was everywhere. Everybody saw that. It was just, and I don't think we win the division without him either.
Agreed.
I don't think we win the division. I think he carried us for one of those months by himself almost. But then also getting to break the battery record with Yadier was a special time for us. That was a cool thing.
Yeah, so many great things. How about that?
That'll never get broken.
Now, not to be, I have to be careful saying this because you're sitting right next to me, but I said several times during the year that the real phenomenal part of that, yes, what you've been able to do with your longevity, but to be behind the plate for the number of games and the number of years that Yadi did, and not only be able to catch, but be able to catch at a high level and be able to perform and be a Gold Glover for all those years. So not taking away from you, but just a couple of thoughts about Yadi.
No, he's remarkable. And I'll tell you how I know. I know that a lot of different ways, but everybody know who Buster Posey is? Pretty good player, right? He's probably going to be a Hall of Famer, won a Gold Glove a bunch of times, won a Rookie of the Year, won an MVP, multiple World Series champion. And he looked at Yadier as the guy he always wanted to be and look up to. And 2 years ago, the year that he retired, he said, I just don't understand how he can go out and catch that many days. Because Buster, at the end of his career, he was playing a lot of first base just to keep his bat in lineup and stuff. But Yadi answered the bell for 18 years in a row. And I don't know if there'll ever be anybody again like him. Defensively, just the best we've ever seen.
Would it be fair to say, from your point of view and your expert point of view, that Yadi was another pitching coach on the team, on the field, and now he's not there? Now you've got Wilson Contreras, who is a all-star, been an all-star, but with Yadi and his leadership gone, do you think that puts even more on you as a guy who is now the statesman of the team? And you're always doing that anyway. But do you think that makes you, not pressure, but it gives you even more responsibility with some of the young, great arms that the Cardinals have?
Yeah, he's not here, so I can talk real nice about him. Yeah. But he wasn't just another pitching coach. He's another manager. He's always got his eye on the other dugout and making sure that he's staying 2 steps ahead of their manager and what they're doing, hit and run and whatever kind of stuff. What was the question?
So the question is, what does that do to you?
Oh, yeah, what does that do to me? That's right.
Does it put more?
I was about to go down this long rabbit hole, and I
that's
realized I'm not sure where this is headed.
And everybody loves it. If you want to go on a rabbit trail, go ahead.
I'll tell you, nothing changes for me because I can only be who I am. When I'm in the clubhouse, I learned a long time ago, for me to be the best leader I can be and the best player I can be, I have to be me. If I try to be other people, if I try to be Chris Carpenter or Yadier Molina or anybody else or fill those shoes in a different way than I can already fill, it's not going to be natural and it's not going to come across right. So I just have to lead how I lead. I have to help people how I help. I have to lead by example is the main thing, and try to be the best Cardinal I can be because there's a lot of great history here that I'd like living up to.
You mentioned earlier. You mentioned that things didn't end the way you wanted them to, and the team. You guys ran into a hot team in the Philadelphia Phillies. As we're still focused on 2022, but we will get ahead. But they were hot, clearly. Won the 2 games there. Does it leave you with a sense of, and everybody else, and you can speak for them, I'm sure, a bit of unfinished business? And did that fuel your desire to come back even?
Yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, let's talk about that series because, we had a very tough ending to that first game. And I went into that series thinking in my head, whoever wins this series is going at least to the World Series and probably going to win the whole thing. That's what I thought. I really believed that because they were all their guys were about to, you could just tell, like Harper and those guys had really been cold in September, and they were starting to take some better at bats, and you can kind of
pitchers too.
Yeah, and you can kind of see that coming. Those Nola and Wheeler are 2 of the best pitchers on the planet. They had everything that they needed to. We had 2 top 3 MVP finalists. And if Albert had done that the whole season, he would have been probably top 5 also. And we had some great pitching too. So I felt like, we have the team that can roll right through this thing if we could get past that first round. And, the first game, our guy Helsley, he's probably the best reliever in all of baseball last year. I can't wait to see what he does this year.
I agree.
Yeah. What he did was just remarkable, and what he's going to do is remarkable. I mean, he's such a great talent, and so he had a bad day, and he hurt his finger a couple days before, and he went out there and he tried to make it happen, but that happens, Right. As a team, you got to pick those guys up, and we didn't pick them up, so that's our fault. And I think a lot of guys in there, they tasted the postseason, they saw what that was like. For a couple years in a row, we've seen what that's like and not seen what it's like to go to the next couple of rounds. I can't wait for them to feel that because there's nothing like it. And our guys are hungry for that.
Yeah. And good for the young players to feel that too and to feed off of that for the guys that know that that's why we play the game is to win.
But I'll tell you this too. Y'all should pat yourselves on the back because especially as we got down the stretch, but that whole second half when Albert was going crazy and we were winning games we needed to win, and we started figuring out ways to win that division. Our crowd was the best I've ever seen it.
That's great.
So, and I'm not just saying that. Yeah. I'm not just saying that because y'all are here and I'm here. But that was a great taste for our young guys too, because that was a playoff atmosphere all the time. And they saw what it's like to play in those meaningful games in front of sellout crowds against big-time opponents when we swept the Yankees here at Busch Stadium. Those guys felt that, yeah.
So you are back, and we're all happy about that, aren't we? Adam Wainwright being back as a Cardinal one more year. And, I keep saying that Warren Spahn won most of his games after age 38. And so he pitched until he, I believe, was 45. So I'm still lobbying to see Adam kind of go till he's 45. I'll have to talk to your family about that.
You don't want me to stay married then, huh? And I got to get my kids a dog at some point.
Well, we can arrange that. But I have a question about your longevity, your career. You got to 195 wins, and you don't play the game for numbers, but you celebrate them. I mean, it's the mark of somebody who's had a great career. 200 wins is a big deal. Is that important to you as you go into the season? Now you've got 5 more to go, so maybe you're going to go to another number that we don't know.
I'll tell you, I'm not looking at 200.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Because
more than that.
If somebody says, "Hey, are you trying to win 200 games this year?" I'm like, "That's 5 games. Y'all want me to win 5 games this year?" Y'all want me to win a lot more than 5 games this year.
I'm talking about April.
Yeah. No, there you go. I like that. I got my eyes on Jess Haynes. I'd like to pass him. I'd like to be second.
All-time and the all-time Cardinal list. I mean,
yeah, he's
so
second
you're familiar
all-time.
with that. You're familiar with where Haynes is and
Yeah,
Bob.
I've been
Forsch,
around for a while, Rick.
You have been, and Bob Gibson, of course. And what's that? You know, so you're in the same conversation with a Hall of Famer, two Hall of Famers, and the Cardinal greats. Do you really feel that and understand that, or you think that's going to take some time to feel it?
I think Mr. Gibson is in a whole different conversation. You know, I'm not in that conversation because like even if I get second in wins, right, and I'm second in strikeouts now by like 1 million, you know, like there's no way to get to anything he did because he was so amazing. I mean, he is the best, maybe the best, one of the best pitchers of all time. So he set such an incredible pace that it's just, you know, how do you have a 1.12 ERA for an entire season? That's just amazing stuff. Also, how do you lose? What did he lose? 9 games that year?
Yeah, he lost a lot of 1-0 games.
That's what he always told me. He said to guys, he'd say, "Just get on base, I'll drive you in."
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. He loved to say that to Lou Brock in particular.
Yeah.
He had more power than Lou.
But you know what? It is when you play as long as I do, and I think some of those things kind of sneak up on you, and you don't really realize how cool those are until other people bring it to you. Right. So I'm blessed to be a part of it.
We'll keep bringing them to you. So we did a lot of that last year as broadcasters, talked about, you know, this number for Yadi, this number for Albert. It was like we had reams of paper every day about records they were breaking individually and collectively. But I know that part of that unfinished business is winning World Series number 12, too, for the Cardinals organization. So as we flip to 2023 to this year, what are your hopes? What do you think about this team? What are your hopes personally and collectively?
Well, I can remember when we won 11-11. And I remember telling people we were going to win 12-12, and we probably should have. Yeah. I mean, we blew that. And we should have won 12-13, and we should have won 12-14. And I have all those years when I look back, those are the years that, and I talk about with John Jay and Descalso sometimes, and I'm like, don't even bring that up, man.
Right.
We had it, and we let it off the hook, but it just shows you how hard it is to win. I mean, the Dodgers have had the best team in baseball now for 10 years in a row or however many years in a row, and they got 1 World Series title. It is not easy to win a World Series title. I'm glad we got to do that a few times here. But I'll tell you, it's been a few too many years. We need to do that again.
Is that okay with you? So the last thing just that I want to talk to you about, so many players that we could talk about, Arenado and Goldschmidt and what they mean to you, and we'll save that for another time. But let's just go to the pitching staff and the starting staff and kind of the guys that are assembled. It seems like there's a whole lot of bodies competing for 5 spots, and you know there's a talk about, well, we're going to go out and get another pitcher. Well, that's going to make 13 or 14 guys competing for a spot. So how do you assess, and particularly the rotation, as you think about, and you're not there to assess that, but in your career, you've been around the game for a long time, so you get the right to say that. So when you think about your team and what's ahead, what are your thoughts?
Well, I just think that always competition brings out the best in your competitors. You know, when you have 5 only starting pitchers and they go out there and they're working on things and whatever. I like when spring training is a real competition. You know, I like when guys go in there with something to prove. I like when the guys go in there excited and maybe they built off of what they did last year. Maybe they were disappointed last year and they used that as fire for this coming year. I love that kind of stuff, man. But I like those jabs, you know, when you get in there and competing with Jack or with Dakota or Miles or anybody, I'd be like, oh, man, that's not bad. You know, I used to do it like that, too, when I was 32, you know. But, you know, I'm up here and you're back there and I'm 42. So, like, tell me how that – I'm only 41, but I like to throw those old man jabs at him. Like, all right, hey, 10 years from now, you going to still be able to keep up? Come in, like let's go, you know. And they do the same thing, like, hey, old man, let's go. And it just keeps everybody on their toes, makes us work harder, makes us pull for each other more, too.
So for the final thought here, I'm just going to let you say what's on your heart. But as you came in and talked about, you know, what the fans have meant to you over the years, and particularly what the fans meant to the Cardinals' success in 2022, I'm just going to, without a question, give you a chance to say parting words, whatever you want to say to these folks and to Cardinal fans listening in a lot of places, and you know they pay attention to your words. They care about what you think. And so, what's your final thought for these folks?
Yeah, well, first I love y'all. Yeah, yep. I have loved being a Cardinal. I love being a Cardinal. I love putting on that uniform. I love the birds on the bat. I bleed Cardinal red. My favorite color is red. You know, those. I mean, it's just part of me now. You know, it's a part of the way we decorate our Christmas tree. It's just a part of the way we live our lives now. Is ingrained in this Cardinals history. And I want you to know, I'm really expecting to go out and have a great season. I want to have the best season I've ever had. But really, more than anything, I want to bring a championship home. You know, I want to win another trophy here. That's what I want. So that's the goal. Just know that goal never changed. It just as the years have gone on and we haven't won it, it's just made me want it even more. And I know Goldie and Arenado who've never won one, never won a playoff series. They want that too. They want it bad, you know, and our guys want that bad. And we want the confetti coming down. You know, we want to be the last team standing. And I just want you all to know that's the expectations. When we go into spring training, when we leave here and we get back to work, before we even report, the goal in mind is to win a World Series. That's our only goal, and we want to do that for y'all.
Cardinal fans are Adam Wainwright. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate it.